it.
You sound pretty bitter.
Damn right I'm bitter, and I'm angry. I am angry and bitter.
I didn't mean to strike a nerve. I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from.
Okay.
What happened?
Okay. So one Saturday, my friend Caroline and I, we were at the Salvation Army, and we were looking for Halloween costumes. So the only spot that was open was a handicapped space. So we took it, went in and shopped, and then when we were leaving, we were starting to back out of the space, well, there was this older woman who walked by, and then she waved her finger at us, and she said it even loud enough so that we can all hear, "Oh, shame on you for using a handicap sticker when you're perfectly able to walk."
Ouch, what did you do?
Well, I stuck my head out the window and I told her I had cancer and I was going through chemo.
What, you didn't tell her you had MS?
No.
Why not?
Okay, I didn't think she would get it. I mean, MS, she wouldn't get MS. Cancer, she could get cancer.
I'm starting to understand what the challenges of having a hidden disability are. I didn't realize it had such an impact on you. I'm really sorry. So then what happened?
She just said she was sorry and hoped I was feeling better.
That was nice of her to say that.
What a bunch of crap!
I still can't believe you lied and told her you had cancer.
Okay, even my mother, who rides along with my dad, who has to walk with a cane, says things like, "Well, we look legit with Dad. He has a cane."
I think you shouldn't worry so much about what other people think.
You know, I can't help it, though. I feel like such a fake, and I feel like I'm this phony, handicapped person.
Sounds like you have a lot of issues around your rock star parking pass.
You think?
Bad day. I don't want to be me. I don't want to be the upbeat, happy-go-lucky, look at the bright side me. I hate people say. I hate the world. I spend my days spinning your negatives into positives and spinning our lives into something that it isn't. This messy house, eating a lot of shitty food that I know is bad and I could make better, but I don't have the energy to do it. But what happens when I express a bad day? Well, that's not very positive, is it? Thanks. Because when you have a bad day, I say I'm sorry. I ask, what can I do to make it better? I do whatever it is to make you smile. But if I have a bad day, I get kicked. At these times, it's hard to remember how well you take care of me. It's not in things like buying other stuff, but making sure dinner is on the table, or making sure the house is clean. But it is in ways of not leaving. Making sure even though we fight, I know you are staying. It is in ways of buying that coveted thing I put off because I have to save up the money to buy it. It is on the days when I am so down and out I cannot function that you pull through. It's not always the case, and often because of everything we have, we both neglect ourselves and each other, which leads to bigger problems, bigger frustrations. But it's in cases like this that I reflect, and I remember the days you pushed the wheelchair through Europe, because that's the only way I was getting around. But you see when I can't, and you don't let me, despite my frustration and my stubbornness to do it anyway. Maybe this is why you say unkind things to me sometimes. To get me that angry to get through it. To know I am stronger than it. But I know despite all of that, sometimes I need a little baby. Sometimes I need to cry for a day. Sometimes I need to be held and coddled and allowed to walk. Sometimes I need.
I met Sam at Odyssey Records in Corvallis. I was the store manager and she was a clerk. We didn't hit it off right away. She was a little afraid of me. The intense free spirit from California meets the sheltered small-town girl from Oregon. But once we connected, wow! Well, we were crazy for each other.
So, Sam, how do you like it now that I've switched your shifts to days?
Oh, I love it. I much prefer the hours and the staff I get to work with.
So pleased. I'm glad it's working for you. You gotta keep the customers satisfied and the employees happy.
And I am happy, Dave. I really am. Oh, somehow it feels like my life is coming together in beautiful ways. You lift my spirit and hold me in your warm, caring ways. When I'm with you, I feel safe. I feel loved.
You don't know how good that makes me feel to hear, Sam. I too feel like our connecting has been an amazing stroke of fortune. I was floundering. You came along and gave meaning to my life.
So, Sam, why don't we go up to my office for a bit and go over some figures? You know, the inventory.
Sam really wanted to get married. But I told her that she was meant to have children. I didn't want them, didn't think I was going to make a good father. And I wasn't going to stand in the way of her destiny. Eventually, we moved to Portland, and I went at the music full time. I put my nose to the grindstone, practicing for hours on end in that Rosen trailer we called a home. Learning new songs, writing some of my own, really honing my skills. Then I was out hitting the streets, banging on every door in town, begging for a chance to play, showing up at any open mic night there was. There were rejections and callbacks, and eventually, a few regular gigs.
All right, man. Keep your head on straight. Don't let your ego get in the way of the joy of playing. I'll start the set with an original or two. Shift to some Lightfoot, Dylan, Simon, then some Open D tuning, blow them away with some Kottke, more of my songs. Calm down. Deep breath. Okay? Showtime.
Eventually, Sam convinced me that she wanted to spend the rest of our lives together, with or without children. We got married in Corvallis at Willamette Park beneath a beautiful oak tree. The ceremony was officiated by a Benton County judge. I performed all of the music, including the processional, and despite the threat of rain, when the wedding party came up over that low rise, the sun broke out beautifully. It was like a good omen for our years ahead. I presented my vows with a song I had written just for the occasion, and in turn, Sam presented hers in a poem. 2 years later, to supplement my meager income from playing music, I got another record store job. Times were hard. There was a recession going on. I'd had some experience working with wood, so I applied at every cabinet store in the Portland area. On my way home one day, I crossed by Everybody's Records on Canyon Road. Well, they had a help wanted sign in their reader board, so I made a beeline for the door, and I applied and was told I was way overqualified for the job. I don't care, I said. I just need a job.
Hey Sam, what's up?
We need to talk. Can we go outside?
Sure. Hey, what's wrong?
I'm pregnant.
Is that a bad thing?
I don't know. Is it? You don't want children, and we don't have insurance. I'm afraid you'll bail on me.
Okay, mister. You're either gonna embrace this situation or you're gonna be miserable for the rest of your life.
It's okay, Sam. Everything's good. I'm not going anywhere.
Hi!
Oh, so good to see you.
I'm so glad this could work out.
Yes,
How was Salem?
I hate that drive.
Did you have to testify?
Yes, only a couple questions. The bill passed out of committee unanimously. It's scheduled to be on the governor's desk for signature ASAP.
Ooh, that's so good.
I know, don't tell anyone I'm voting.
Code of silence.
So, how's that writing workshop coming? What's wrong?
I hate it. I mean, I really hate it.
Yeah, I know you hate it, but you also said it was really therapeutic for you. What's happening?
Last week's assignment was Turning Point. Right about a time when something happened and nothing would ever be the same.
Oh my God, Anna. Everything in your life since 2003 has been that.
I know, and I've decided to include it all, the whole story,
Even what you denied?
the whole everything. It's kind of like a Grecian urn.
What?
You know John Keats, the poet, Ode to a Grecian Urn?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I feel this whole project is a Grecian urn. I'll never be over the emotional part, I guess. I can't cast it away. But I'm hoping to create something artistic with this, to capture everything.
Okay, I get it. Read me what you have.
It's Saturday, February 22nd, 2003. My boyfriend drives me to the ER. Let me stress, this is the first time I've been to an ER. All week, I've been living with ongoing pain. I have no idea what is happening to me. On Sunday, I was in bed running in the snow on snowshoes with my sister. On Monday night, my feet fell asleep while I'm reading the newspaper. On Tuesday, my feet are still asleep and burn. I can't wear any other shoes than flats. On Wednesday, my ankles are now asleep. I make an appointment with my primary care doctor, who isn't sure but thinks it's diabetes and gives me a prescription. By the next day, I have pain in my lower back. I stay home Friday because the pain is so intense I can't sit. Now I've lost bladder control. What is wrong with me? I repeat these series of events each time I'm asked what's the matter, because I'm certain if I'm thorough, I'll be rewarded with a cure. As I'm in the ER, my brother, my only brother, is dead. Died at 36, died in his sleep. Although I won't know that until the next morning.
What seems to be the problem?
On Sunday, I was in bed running in the snow on snowshoes with my sister. On Monday night, my feet fell asleep while I'm reading the newspaper.
I'm
On
not
Tuesday-
sure it could be a UTI.
What?
a urinary tract infection.
What the shit do you know? I've had those before, and this is not one of those.
Wait a minute. Did you really say, what the shit do you know?
Well, no, but it's a workshop, so I can, right? I mean, I'm certain I was crying.
Okay, sorry, go on.
It could also be diabetes or MS. Here's a referral to see a neurologist.
What does this do for me?
It gets you an appointment to see a neurologist. But if you start feeling worse, I want you to come right back here.
I return home to several messages on my answering machine. Hannah, it's Mom. Please call. Another one from Mom, and now my sister stressing it's important that I call. I call my folks, and the bomb drops. Your brother has died. All I'm thinking is what? How? Why? The next 2 days are spent downplaying my visit to the ER to my folks. Oh, it's some bladder problem, and now the pain has gone to my lower back. Trying to get a flight from PDX to Bend, and trying to get an appointment with the neurologist.
You'll need an MRI. My nurse will help you with the scheduling.
I'm a little confused. I need an appointment now.
The clinic can schedule you for an MRI tomorrow.
I need an appointment. I've been in pain all week. Nothing. Silence from the nurse. I turn to my boyfriend. I can't get an MRI till tomorrow. Screw this, we're going to the ER. He finds a wheelchair and rolls me to the ER. He begins to take over. He explains everything to the admitting clerk. He fills out the forms. He cancels my flight and gets a refund. He calls my assistant and explains I'm in the ER and I won't be on the flight to Bend. He talks with my folks. I'm sorry. You know how I hate to cry.
It's okay. You're reliving a week of pain. Now finally an MRI. And as for your tears, that's why your skin is so beautiful.
Yeah, your theory about my crying and beautiful skin.
Yes.
All right, where was I? I'm admitted into the ER. I'm medicated to lessen the pain. I am discharged from the ER. I'm admitted to the hospital. I finally have an MRI. I am rolled to my room with an IV dripping steroids into my veins to tackle the exasperation I'm having because my T cells, a type of white cell, are attacking each other.
Your MRI shows some scarring and an active lesion. This is important because it is evidence that you have multiple sclerosis.
Now what? I hear nothing of what she is saying. All I hear is my boyfriend's voice. You're in good company. Secretary of State Bill Bradbury, West Wing's President Jen Bartlett. They both have MS. Toward the end of the week, still with a cane, still medicated, still fuzzy, and still in severe pain, I attend my brother's rosary. I approach his coffin. I say, wake up! Wake up! Come on, you're always messing with me. Now wake up! I attempt to shake him, but he doesn't move. I kiss him. I am so sorry.
I had been invited to a networking event by a friend from a book club. And there were about 25 professionals from the Portland area, and it was a rainy Thursday evening, and lots of wine and networking, and, well, I remember the host's welcome.
Hello. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you could come. I'm Casey Jackson. Help yourself to wine and snacks, and well, let's get started by introducing ourselves, and we'll go around. Tell me what you do, and then we'll move on. Lisa, could you get us started, and we'll go ahead.
Huh. What do I say? I could tell them about all the work that I've done in nonprofit development and fundraising. Or maybe that I am an environmental scientist working to protect grizzly bear habitat in Alaska. Or that I was an account executive at the second largest advertising agency in the world. Or I could tell them that I was an adventurer and just returned from a trip to the Arctic to watch the polar bear migration, and next I'd be off for a trip to India and Nepal for a trek in the Himalayas. All of these would be true. I've done all of this and more, but...
Lisa, please, tell us what you do.
Well, depends on who's asking. I guess I'll be going with, right now I'm saying I'm a professional patient. You see, I have multiple sclerosis. And over the past 13 years, I have learned that the trick to living with MS is having the time, the care, having the time and the money and the energy to take care of myself.
My mom's cousin has it, but I really don't know anything about it.
Well, let me tell you, MS presents itself in very different ways. I deal mostly with constant neuropathic pain, fatigue, bladder and cognitive issues. I sleep 9 to 13 hours a day, and when I'm not sleeping, I'm probably at a doctor's office.
Oh my. Well, but what do you do for work?
I haven't worked in about 6 years. Stress really flares up my symptoms. Years ago, I was managing a large fundraising project and started to develop double vision in one of my eyes. That was the end of my gainful employment. So at 40 years old, I went on Social Security, Disability, and Medicare.
Aren't you a little young for Social Security and Medicare?
Honestly, this is the first time I've ever introduced myself in this way. I usually lie and say, I do development work as a contractor out of my house.
Why don't you just tell the truth?
The truth is embarrassing and hard to explain. My life is completely different now. I spend most of my time and money taking care of this body, of this rather complicated assignment.
But lots of people's lives don't turn out like they planned, and what's so unusual about your situation?
I don't like what I've become.
Oh, why do you say that?
I can't help but compare my life from before and after MS. I am told to simply embrace the here and now and to feel okay about it, to live in the moment. But all I feel in the moment right now is constant burn in my legs.
You sound like you're feeling sorry for yourself.
Well then please, tell me, what am I missing? What is my freaking problem? Living life as a professional patient is not enough for me. But where do I get the energy to create the life that I want? My body and my spirit and the world around me says, go for it. You can do it. Do whatever you want. Sleep when you're dead.
Really?
Sleep when you're dead. And my body tells me, you will feel like death warmed over if you don't get a 2-hour nap in today. I want so much to be okay with this. I want to trust in my body. I want to believe that someday I will have the energy to do great things again. I don't want to feel anger, regret, or doubt about how I've lived my life.
What if you just surrender?
I remember that question being asked in front of all of those successful people. What could I say? Surrender to what? How? Why? Surrender. So I just kept silent. And after a moment, the host went on to the next person, and I don't remember what they said. And all I kept thinking is, what if you just surrendered? And what if I did? Not an option, but what if I did?
Hi, Hannah. Please, take a seat.
Thanks, Dr. Lowenstein, for seeing me so quickly.
You seemed really upset.
Yeah, I am.
What's going on?
I'm not sure how to describe it other than I feel I've been outed and I'm frustrated, I'm angry, and I'm not sure how to deal with it.
Tell me more.
Well, to me, being outed is that something very private has been shared about you without either your knowledge or permission. I've learned that Mark Quinn has told my college professor I have MS, which really pisses me off.
How did you discover Mark's actions?
It was in an email I got from my college professor, my college advisor, Professor Bashi. She was a great college advisor. I know without her, I wouldn't have had my internship, which led to my first job, but that was then. I mean, I haven't seen her in almost 20 years. As for Mark, we went to the same college and had several classes together, but I don't go to university events and I'm not active in the alumni program, whereas Mark is.
What was in the email?
Dear Hannah, I asked Mark Quinn for your email address. Over the last year or so, I've seen Mark in Portland and at different university events. He told me you were diagnosed with MS. I assume this is why I haven't seen you in Salem. I think about you often and wondering if you're doing okay. She goes on to talk about other items and ends with how she hopes to see me sometime down the road. I can't believe Mark thinks he can talk about me. And my MS is just, ugh.
People do talk about others. I think it's only natural. But tell me about your anger that Mark is talking about your MS.
Well, there are lots of reasons. First, we have discussed about how my MS is invisible. Because of a lesion on the tip of my tailbone, my thighs, glutes, and lower back are in constant pain. I feel the pain. No one sees the pain. I choose to tell my story and whom I tell it to. To me, it's kind of like if someone has AIDS or cancer, or if someone is gay. It's invisible. I'm certain few would know I have MS unless I told it to them. Plus, it's extremely personal. I want to choose who knows my story. And then there's the bigger issue, the stigma of MS. The stigma, the humiliation when I have to cancel because of my fatigue. I hate lying, but I don't want to have to explain why. The stigma, the disgrace when I need to use my pain because I'm exhausted and must preserve my energy to get my errands done. The stigma, the shame when I'm using my cane and I see someone, the knot in my stomach, the what am I going to say? Plus, I'm really upset with Mark. It really pisses me off that Mark has decided to tell people I have MS, and yet I have never discussed this with Mark. What a freaking gossipy bitch. It makes me feel powerless and on the defense.
So, Hannah, I understand how angry you are and how Mark took away your choice in who knows about your disease. I want you to think about this. What does holding on to your anger do for you?
Well, I know it's not good for me.
Everybody feels anger sometimes. It's a perfectly spending holding on to your anger is actually increasing your pain and fatigue. And no one can feel happy when they're angry.
But how can I let go of it?
Well, I want you to think about trying to forgive Mark. I know it sounds like a strange idea at first, but keep in mind, forgiving somebody is not condoning the behavior. When you forgive, it's for yourself. It's to help you. It also takes away Mark's power to upset you.
I'll think
Forgiveness brings peace of mind.
I'll think about it. I really just want to email Mark and tell him how I feel about what he's done.
I suggest you do that. It's a healthy way to deal with your anger. Just don't send it yet. After you and I work on the forgiveness piece, you may find you don't need to send it at all.
Okay, I think I can do that.
Good. We'll dig into it next week.
Shit. This isn't happening. Hey, Sam? I need you to pick me up at work. I don't know what's going on. It's like my entire left side is paralyzed. I think I'm having a stroke or something.
Calm down.
I think you need to take me to the emergency room.
So, the ER technician tells me I set bones, I patch wounds. I'm not a neurologist, but I think you need to see one.
So what do you think it is? You think I might have multiple sclerosis? Oh shit. Well, now what do I do?
The neurologist refers me to the new MRI facility on Northeast Broadway to confirm what he suspects is going on. I asked him to do me a favor. Samantha was due to deliver our second child. We wanted to bring some measure of control into our life, so we planned to have the baby induced at Tuolumne Hospital. The neurologist agreed to call me as soon as he got the results of my MRI. Well, I was really freaking out then. While I was waiting at home for my MRI appointment, I tried distracting myself by turning on the World Series. Well, as the game began, an earthquake struck San Francisco. In lieu of a game to announce, Al Michael regaled us with his expertise on geology until the network finally yanked him. Oh yeah, a lot of shaking going on that night. As usual, Samantha was remarkable as she bravely struggled to bring our child into the world. But I just sat there, unable to do anything. No neck rubs, no effleurage. When they handed me my brand new baby daughter, I could barely hold her.
Hello? Yes, this is Gabriel. Oh, I see. Thank you, doctor.
Well, it's official. I have MS.
Oh, Molly, you're only calm when I face the floor with you. I can't keep it up. Please settle down. You're making me crazy. Where's Sam? Damn it, Jordan, I told you to knock it off. Go to your room and shut the door. I can't take this anymore. It's not fair. I look into Molly's face and I wonder if I will ever love this child. What's to become of me? How am I supposed to support my family? What a fucking mess. I just want to be happy again.
Where have you been? How could you leave the children alone? And why is Jordan so upset? I didn't want to say this, and I really don't want it to happen, but if you don't get help and pull yourself together, I'm gonna have to take the kids and leave.
Oh, how I hit the wall then. I didn't want to lose everything I held dear, so I started seeing Diane, a counselor at the OHSU MS Center. Now, I really resisted doing this at first, though. I thought I could get through this MS crap with my smarts and determination. Boy, I was a fool. At least I was wise enough to realize my inadequacies. Well, thanks to Sam for making me realize.
Hello, Abram. It's nice to meet you. So, tell me why you're here.
I feel like my life is falling apart before my eyes. I can't seem to hold on to anything anymore. Well, that's literally true, but I also mean it metaphorically. I can't do my job. I can't really drive anymore, or I shouldn't. I can't play the guitar the way I could before. And most importantly, I'm pushing my family away. I'm angry all the time, fighting with my wife and yelling at my kids. I don't know who I am anymore.
That must feel frightening, even terrifying. It sounds like you're depressed. That's completely understandable given your diagnosis. We can work on that. Tell me, how is your appetite? Are you sleeping well?
Well, now that you mention it, I haven't really had much interest in what I eat. And my sleep is horrible. I've always had trouble with that, with deadlines at work and things like that, but this is much worse. I never get a good night's sleep.
Some of that might be due to your MS. I would propose a two-pronged approach. There are some very good antidepressant medications, but I would suggest that you use them to calm down so you can do the real work with me. And it will be work, have no doubts. Are you willing to give it a try?
You're the boss.
No. You're the one in control of the industry. I'm just the coach. I can show you how to use the tools, but it's you who must do the hard work.
Okay, I know how to work with tools, but you're scaring me a little. I know this is our first session, but do you think I can pull this off? I mean, I hate failure, but I cannot fail at this.
Gabriel, I think if you really want it, you can make it happen. PM.
Okay, sounds great. Bye, Elizabeth. Oh, God, I'm exhausted. I don't get it. I'm too tired to talk with one of my best friends for more than 10 minutes. Okay, let's refocus. You did talk with Elizabeth and you did make plans. You also completed 3 important tasks today and you got a 2-hour nap. This is so insane. Who needs 10 hours of sleep plus a 2-hour nap?
10 p.m.
Okay. Oh, now please fall asleep. I really don't want to take an Ambien. It makes me so fuzzy and groggy in the morning. But I need to sleep. I'll take half.
12:33 a.m.
What? Only 2.5 hours? Why not more? I keep tossing and turning. All right, relax. Try to focus on your breathing and not the burning sensation in your arms. Breathe in. Breathe out.
3:13 a.m.
I need to pee.
5:55 a.m.
Not again. Off to the bathroom. Come on, P. You got out of bed because you had the urge. Now go. Oh God, I wonder if dogs feel like this. They wake up their owner because they have to go. Both of them are half asleep and it's freaking cold. And they wait and wait. How did I get here? I'm comparing myself to a dog.
8:15 a.m.
Oh, God. What? Oh, God. Oh, I still have 45 minutes left before the alarm goes off. Oh, I hate this. And now I'm fuzzy because of the Ambien. I knew it. Now I'll have to take one of my anti-fatigue pills to get me going. And here it goes again. The need to pee.
My mom, my neurologist, my counselor, and my friends for years have been, well, encouraging me to get involved with an MS support group. And I would say, you need to meet people who share your experience and understand what you're going through. Or you desperately need the support of your peers and you can't go through this alone. Well, we had just moved to town, so I figured, well, it was as good as time as any to venture forth. So finally, I went to my first and only MS support group last night. And it was at JB's Bar and Restaurant. Well, and thanks to my GPS, I managed to find the place, so that worked out. Well, I walk in and I see this long set of tables. There's just one table after another, and 20 chairs, but only 14 butts showed up. Well, and our peer facilitator, Molly, from Minnesota, well, she facilitated us going around the room, introducing ourselves, well, and she had went first, and she stated her name, and then she began exclaiming, well, how her new neurologist doesn't believe she has MS. Well, and I was excited, so I shouted, well, nice to meet you, Miss Diagnosis. Oh. Well, another new club member is sitting right next to me, and we're directly across from a trio, which only one of them has MS. This young girl, well, she had brought 2 parental types with her, and I don't know, they were probably there just to pick up her tab, but before I could put in an order for a stiff drink, she blurts out, I'm bipolar, and I have MS with active lesions. Well then, suddenly non-freaking stop crazy rubbish just starts gushing out from her thin lips. Me, MS, me. Oh, wow. It was all I could do not to silence her forever. And poor lady next to me, she got her ticket into the MS Club back in October. And, she had wondered out loud, would her husband leave her if she became confined to a wheelchair. And, she had heard of just that thing happening to other people who have MS. Well, then, little Miss MS Bipolar says in her loud and irritating voice, but only 20% of women with MS end up in wheelchairs, and men 80%. So don't you worry, your chances of him staying are like so good. 100% of the men in that room had heard her say that. And to top it off, my dinner, my fun meal for the week, well, it was as bad as that meeting. And although the restaurant was clean and the menu inviting and the staff attentive, the food shockingly awful. It was bad. I get in line to settle my portion of the bill with the facilitator. escalator, and as I begin to step away, I hear one of the group members bark over at her, saying, "Oh, I'm paying our server directly. Are you kidding? I'm in finance. Blah, blah, blah." Well, being both amused and just pained at this lousy meeting, I start to cry. I quickly leave the building, and I manage over to the safety of my Subaru Forester, which is equipped with side airbags just in case, because you never know what's going to hit you. And not even sure of what to do next or how to get home, I turn on my GPS, and it starts. And then suddenly, in this chipper British accent, exclaims, "Recalculating, recalculating, recalculating." You know, I think that is good advice.
Hello.
Well, you seem to be in my thoughts lately.
How will I end up? Or will my life be worth living?
Yes. I missed you, my friend.
I've just been so busy these days trying to maintain gainful employment. There just aren't enough hours in the day and not enough fuel in the tank, you know?
Try not to worry so much. Well, there are safety nets available to you when you're ready to use them. Just try and stay at it. Huh? Do as much as you can and as little as you need to preserve yourself.
Man, I am one of the best builders at PPI. My work is widely admired. Do I ever regain the ability to work with my hands?
I just don't have the dexterity anymore. And because of that, I lack confidence to be around power tools. And if you don't have the confidence to be around them, you've got no business being there in the first place.
Shame. Do I still play the guitar? Do I ever regain that ability?
No. Sorry. That was a blow. It was like something had died. I got really depressed.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. I'm living it.
Listen, one of the smartest things I ever did, aside from marrying Sam, was get hooked up with a great counselor. You know, she really helped me learn how to cope. She saved my life, or at least my family.
I'm really glad to hear that. Really glad. So, how will I fill my days?
Well, for the last 10 plus years, I've been volunteering with the National MS Society. Well, I go into the office one day a week and facilitate 2 support groups each month.
That sounds like a positive contribution.
Yes. It feels good to give back, and to be able to give to the community, you know? I can serve as an example for others struggling with MS, that life does indeed go on after diagnosis. It might look, feel a lot different. It might not always be as pretty as it was, but it's still a life. Sure, we got dealt a shitty hand, but I'm not ready to fold them. I still want to play the cards I've got.
What about the creative spark? An artist needs to create. It's like food for the soul, you know it.
For me, it's creative just to be. Overcoming challenges, managing relationships. Well, that takes imagination and ingenuity. I'm doing the best I can with what I've got, and I'm living, my friend.
Will I truly be fulfilled with my current life?
I find fulfillment in mundane things. Samantha and you are still married after 35 years. And my relationships with Jordan and Molly have evolved into caring and mutual respect. Oh, there's a lot of love and friendship there. These are not petty accomplishments.
So glad to hear that. Things are getting out of hand.
Relationships evolve over time. And keeping them together requires constant vigilance, and the key to relationships is communication. That's something my family and I do really well. Yeah, when we remember to do it. But one thing I've realized through this entire ordeal is there's always been a constant thread. And even though at times that thread was stretched as thin as a hair, it's been my lifeline. That thread is my relationship with Samantha. So be mindful and treat her well.
I didn't know if I could have handled it as well.
Well, it hasn't been easy. It's been a lot of hard work, some time with counseling, and things are always changing, so I need to reassess, but I'll tell you something. Once I got a handle on things, I realized that my MS has really been a blessing in a lot of ways.
What? Why do you say that?
Well, for one thing, I got to retire early. Very early. I can really take my time and smell the roses now. And I no longer feel the pressure to perform. I used to always feel that I had to constantly prove myself, show I was worthy. Well, now I know a person's true value is measured by what's inside, not by what they accomplish. It's a reflection of their inner being. Don't worry. You will redefine yourself, and in that process, you will find people. Now, I'll tell you another thing. Back when I was feeling sorry for myself, when I was truly miserable, I wondered if I would ever be happy again. And after a lot of searching and difficult work, I finally figured out that happiness is a choice. A person can turn it on or off like a light. The other day, I was waiting for TriMet Lyft to pick me up. They were running late, as usual, and I kept watching the clock, looking for my ride, watching the clock, looking for my ride. I could feel my agitation starting to rise. And as I was sitting there, I looked out the window and see a rosebud on the bush outside. And after all that freezing weather we had just had, I could feel my agitation just melt away.
Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I'd like to acknowledge the writers who are in the house tonight. Brian E. Nesbitt. Gary Gilbert. Julie Van Meiderman.